During the course of these 3 days, our discussions also touched on the subject of currency and the way we trade with each other. I have suggested that we revisit the idea of trading using the gold dinar and barter trade among us.
About gold dinar, so how do you view this? Will be this physical money backed by gold or cryptocurrency? And will there be any meeting among the central banks of the Muslim nations soon?
Well, actually, we now have to use one currency as an international currency almost. That is the US dollar. But the US dollar also is not stable. Sometimes it is stronger, sometimes it's weaker. But gold has got a certain value for all countries in the world. Now, if you use gold as a standard, which was what it was at the Bretton Woods, if we use gold as a standard, we can call our currencies by whatever name.
If you use gold as a standard, you can call your currency whatever you want by name. So once again, we have a gentleman here giving his viewpoints. This is the Prime Minister of Malaysia. And he just this past weekend talked about the importance of gold and beginning to remove themselves off using the dollar.
Relate to the value of gold in your country. So if you know the value of gold in your country and the value of gold in the trading partner, then we know how much gold is worth during the trade. And that we can call that a gold dinar as a standard. And that is what was proposed. And I think we should study this very carefully because today we are hampered by having to use just one currency for international trade.
We are just limited. They're hampered by using just solely the dollar. And so 2020 is a couple of days away. You better bet that there's so many nations right now. So here you have just in front of you now a crowd of individuals from the Eastern Hemisphere, all focusing on how they can strategically begin removing themselves or, as the Prime Minister mentioned, stop hampering themselves economically on dependence upon one single currency, which happens to be, if you're in the U.S., it's your national currency. If you're not in the country, if you're not in the U.S., it's a currency that your government is dependent upon when it comes to doing international trades.
The U.S. dollar.
You talked this morning about the sanctions against Iran and the blockade imposed on Qatar. How do you see the continuation of this, specifically the continuation of the blockade against Qatar from 3 Arab countries?
Well, we don't believe in sanction. We don't actually point out the specific cases. But sanction is a criminal act.
Sanctions. They don't believe in sanctions, but yet sanctions is what the United States government has used in the last decade plus to weaponize the Federal Reserve note and to force their will upon other nations. And the Prime Minister here is saying that we don't believe in sanctions. And so watch this part here.
You not only punish the country concerned, you punish other countries as well. When they applied sanction to Iran, we lost our market, and Iran is a big market for us, and trade between us has been reduced or almost reduced to nothing. So this kind of thing can only be done by strong countries. Weak countries like Malaysia, I would like to apply sanction on Mr. Trump.
The Prime Minister would like to apply sanctions on President Trump. I would imagine a lot of other nations would love to apply sanctions directly on the United States government, regardless of who the president is. And so they will be applying sanctions in a way where it will impact the world, and those sanctions will be furthering themselves off the dollar standard or the Federal Reserve note standard, therefore really ramping up de-dollarization in this next decade. And so when you have the Prime Minister of Malaysia coming out saying that he would love to be able to apply sanctions on President Trump, on a personal note, it is very possible to do so. All he would have to do is not allow the Trump empire of hotels and resorts and all those type of things to have any dealings whatsoever in that region. That right there would definitely hit this particular president where it hurts most, in his pocket. So listen to this.
I cannot, because I am a small man. But he can apply a sanction to whole countries, and we all suffer. So this is democracy at its worst. Well, they talk about democracy, promote about freedom of speech, freedom of this and that. They themselves deny democracy to other people.
They themselves, referring to the United States of America, deny democracy to other nations by enforcing their will upon everybody else, and all in the name of democracy. And so here we have, once again, Prime Minister of Malaysia giving his thoughts during the conference this past weekend. They're very, very interesting. And so I've actually shared an article on the Rethinking the Dollar blog highlighting more things, mentioning especially their interest in incorporating cryptocurrencies amongst partnering neighbor countries, which you can find more details for yourself in the article beneath this video. Other than that, thought I would bring this to your attention. We are approaching 2020. This decade will be very interesting in many fronts. One being that the world will no longer be utilizing the Federal Reserve note the way that it has been done in the prior century. Therefore, as these nations here begin making changes, hopefully you're doing the same. And as you see on a national level, on a governmental level, we have governments here getting their weight up in physical gold. So definitely, if they're stacking gold, you need to be doing something similar, whatever in accordance to whatever you feel is best for you. This is all just one man's opinion. But yet when you see nations, you see prime ministers, you see governments, you see central banks repatriating and getting their weight up in physical form, I shouldn't have to say anymore. Other than that, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Share this information so more people can find out what's occurring right now on this holiday season. And I want to wish everybody Merry Christmas to everybody. 5-ounce RTD Scary George round. Still available for those that want it. Definitely. It's an opportunity to, if you're going to spend on something that will retain value and definitely appreciate nominal terms in the years ahead. Other than that, links below for the RTD round. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.